Sherry says I never do solo content videos, so here it is. Written, produced, edited, and starring yours truly.
We haven't got to the edited part, so let's not say you edited until you do.
I'm gonna edit it. Even if you do most of it, I'll do the finishing touches. Alright, so today, I'm gonna actually turn you around. Sherry got this stock tank that she's gonna use to brood the chickens. And I say she, but maybe I'll help a little bit. This will be for our meat birds. And what I'm actually gonna do is build a frame around the stock tank, put some insulation on it, and then a lid in order to keep the other critters out as well as the chickens in. And then we'll be able to rest a heat lamp on top. We'll probably do half the tank covered and then half with hardware cloth. And then we'll probably do hardware cloth around the frame itself once it's complete. Did my little drop on my plans. I got my hardware and my tools. I probably am missing something. The insulation's down in the barn right now, but I'll bring that up once I get the frame built and then secure that in there. I'll probably do it to where that you can take the insulation out for when it's really warm, because we'll do 2 batches of meat birds this year. One now where it's actually the temperatures have dropped again, and then one later in the summer when it's going to be warmer, so be able to get a little bit more airflow, but also keep out all the mice or rats from getting in the stock tank. So I'm going to be using 2x2s mostly, with a piece of plywood on top, hardware cloth, some hinges, and some brackets. But I'll be using pocket holes to hold it all together. So. All right, so we got all our cuts done. We've got, what was it? Let me look at my notes. 6 2x2s at 6 foot 2 inches long, 10 2x2s at 2 foot 2 inches, and 3 2x2s at 1 foot 11 inches. I did make one mistake on my cuts. One of the longer boards is only 5 foot 2 inches, so maybe measure twice, cut once instead of the other way around. But for now, we're going to go ahead and start doing our pocket holes on the 2x2s, because those will be our ends, and we'll get those squared away. Get it? And then we'll end up doing the L brackets probably at the end. We'll do them all at the same time. But I'm going to take the drill back from Sherry over there. She's hiding it right there, and go ahead and start on my pocket holes. The people want to know.
No, they don't.
What are you doing?
They don't want to know.
They do.
No, they don't. I'm making stuff.
What are you making?
Scare you. Called winter sowing. I'm using these milk jugs because we have a ton of them, and I'm gonna sow some seeds in here, probably like just herbs, because why not?
Cool. This jig is available from Craig, and it creates these nice handy pocket holes. The screw will actually come through here into whatever is butted up against this end. So what you do is you basically just clamp this sucker down in there. This says the center hole, so if you're using a 2x4, you can use the 2 outer holes. So for just one, you clamp it right in. It's got a special drill bit here that has the different gauges for different sizes of wood, and it's as easy as that. pop it back out. And now we got our pocket holes. These screws are also available from Craig. You don't have to use these specific ones, but they got a nice flat head and hold together pretty nicely. They're a little bit spendier than buying just a regular screw, but I have them available, so we're doing it. Alright, so you kind of can see you got most of the frame assembled. Just time-lapse most of it just to save the time on the video. But it's basically just pocket holes all the way around, fitting them together. If you had a corner you could use as a brace, you could get it a little bit straighter. But these boards aren't the perfectly straight boards anyway. We'll probably use a little bit of weight on top to help them stay down against the pallets we'll set this on. But it's pretty simple, so I'll go ahead and show you these couple pocket holes. Might not be able to see the greatest, but all I'm doing is lining up these boards and putting in these pocket holes. Pretty simple, straightforward. If I had a larger work surface, it might be a little easier, but we'll make it do. Alright, so we'll rotate this one more time, get that last edge done, and then our frame for our stock tank will almost be complete. The last thing we'll have to do is the vertical supports on the long ends. Now go your way. What's what?
I think it's a
So this is how the frame will set, in case you were wondering.
nice.
Alright, so the last thing we're going to do to give it a little bit of support this way is add a support here in the middle. We'll go halfway, which is 3 foot 1 inch, and place one of these in here. Whoa, 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 what are you doing? frame is done. Besides the arrow brackets, we'll get those on in a second. All right, so while Sherry's working on her project, I'm gonna move over here and start putting on some of these L brackets. I'll probably just show a couple. So it'll be the same process for all of them. But I've got these little L brackets, and they'll just help secure every corner. All right, I got all the corner brackets on for the most part, and then I realized that my measurements for the lid are actually off. I don't know how I did that in my plans, but that's what we ended up with. So what I'll do tomorrow is replace this and the two end pieces so that they're long enough to cover this entire thing. Then weigh it down probably for a little while so it takes out some of the warp, and then attach the top. So that's it for today though. It's getting cold out, getting tired, started late, but the stock tank fits pretty well in there, and I think once we get some insulation in there, it'll really help keep our chicks warm. So stay tuned. Back at it. This time I enlisted some help. I got Sherry here to help wrap the frame with the hardware cloth. Let me turn you around. So I'm gonna have Sherry staple all this hardware cloth on, then we'll trim it down to size. We're gonna use the hardware cloth to keep any mice or rats from getting after the chickens. Yeah. And then we'll put the insulation on the inside of that. While Sherry's working on this, we're gonna start working on this tree. Landon's already at work. He's got a big branch he's gonna hit the power line with. I never thought of that. All right, so Godspeed. It's dancing. Got a new toy. I'm gonna go to work on this tree. Final day. We got our brooder right here. I'm gonna throw the top on, and we're gonna take it out of the barn, put the hinges on, and insulate it. Well, that'll be that for that project. We'll probably put the light on and see what temperature we're at, see if we're gonna need extra light or not. But I have this piece of particle board laying around, so I figured I'd use it. Not quite wide enough, but with the cross piece here and there, I'll attach it to those. We'll be good to go. So let's do it. All right, so we got our frame done. Got the hinges on there, we got the cover, got the open part. We may end up adding more wood here if it's not warm enough inside this thing with the insulation. But this also gives us the opportunity to put a couple lights directly on top. So It opens up, it closes. Now just to add some insulation. This one had the flat front, but it doesn't, huh?
No, but we can buy another one. Do we make the greatest hide and seek spot?
Maybe. Alright, so we got our brooder down here. It opens and closes, like I showed you earlier. Look, closed.
Yeah.
And then open.
It's pretty cool.
We did go ahead and put a little bit of insulation around the inside. It's been freezing temperatures out here, so we want to make sure that they're warm enough. Didn't quite have enough tall enough piece for the ends, so we're going to leave it like this right now and test out the heat level in here until we get our chicks and decide if we need to add a little bit more insulation or not. If we need to add any more cover to the top. But we're going to set up our heat lamp in here and see what kind of temperatures we're working with.
Okay. What's the verdict?
Ta-da! Got it insulated. I did put a piece of insulation over this right now. Sherry says she doesn't like it at all, and how could I be so dumb to not put that to be an opening close lid? So that's the first thing we'll fix.
It's not true.
That's not true. She just said, well, could we make this open? And it's actually a good point, so you can get in and get the food and water out without taking the whole lid up, moving the light and stuff. We'll probably end up mounting the light off of one of these beams, make it a little bit more secure, but for right now we just have it set up here just to check the temperature. But I think it'll work. As long as it gets warm enough in there. If not, we'll probably put a layer of insulation underneath this. Maybe under that side. And close up the corners. But I think this should work.
I think so too.
Like and subscribe for more amazing content, and comment down below what you liked most about this video.